Hi, how's it going, Andrew?
It's going good, going good. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, I know it's been a while that we last spoke, and I remember I remember that you had visited us in New York while I was living there,
Right,
and I just remember that it was such a memorable experience.
for sure.
Um, and I know you were interested in tech, right? So we went to the Google office,
Oh yeah, that's
right?
right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
hmm
we met at Starbucks, I believe, in Midtown, and then took you to Google office. Um,
Yes, we did go to Chelsea Market as well.
Yeah, so we had lunch
hmm
there. I remember I think your parents had like lobster or seafood or something.
Oh wow, yeah. I don't remember the details, but I do
Yeah.
remember us going to the Starbucks Reserve and
hmm
then Chelsea Market, and
hmm
we went to Columbia as well, I think.
Yeah, and then we took the subway to
Oh
Columbia.
yeah, that's true. Right.
Yeah, and then I
For
think we
sure.
visited the Data Institute Center at Columbia.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so.
hmm
Wow, it was long before, like way before the pandemic. I think summer of
Yeah,
2019. Yeah,
yeah, summer of 2019, before you actually applied for college, right? It was
exactly.
right before.
Good
Okay.
times, good times. No masks at that time.
Yeah, correct, correct.
Yes.
And then maybe if you can introduce you a bit about yourself, like high school, college. We already kind of talked about that, but
Sure.
maybe you can kind of like say it again.
Yeah, definitely. Andrew asked me to wear my Northwestern sweater, so I have it on right now. But basically, as what Andrew said, I'm a sophomore at Northwestern studying computer science with minors in data science and entrepreneurship. I basically went to high school in Jakarta as well. Not an American high school. We were not a US feeder. It was IPECA Integrated Christian School, Australian curriculum in West Jakarta. And yeah, I've always been interested in tech. Until now, I'm also basically still running a social organization slash startup back home called Gen Digital, which I know we're gonna touch on later. But basically, what we do is we basically give underprivileged kids opportunities to learn about tech and sort of hone in on digital literacy skills. In terms of like what I'm interested in right now, I am interested in basically the tech startup world. I'm also interested in entrepreneurship. And there are so many different things, in the US and also in college that I really want to explore as I go into this next season of life.
Looking at your grades in high school, right? So like in
Right.
high school, I was not a motivated student at all,
Okay.
and I did not get motivated till like senior year of college, basically, right before you had to find
Right.
a job, right?
Okay.
And that's probably a part of the reason why I really want to help like a lot of high school students early on in the process is because a lot of things we don't realize until later.
For sure.
Um, and for you, like having great, you know, grades like straight A's and high SAT score, like in high school, what inspired you to be successful academically, and how did you plan for your studies?
Right. Oh, that's a great question. In terms of like planning and like what inspired me to get high grades and stuff, I think that one of the reasons, obviously, like obviously it's besides the fact that like colleges really need like high grades and everything. I think that yeah, I just really wanted to make good use of my time in high school, learning. I know that obviously like colleges at the end of the day they look at the grades, they look at just like the quantifiable results, right? But I feel like just that passion for learning is something that colleges want to see as well. Right before I applied to colleges, I also actually talked to a friend of mine who was my mentor during a summer camp back in the US. He goes to Harvard, and I asked him like, what is this one trait that colleges actually really look for? And he told me that grades, SAT, like people look at that, but what's most important is you have passion in the academic subject that you're interested in, passion in academia. And it comes in different forms and different ways. But in high school, I think the byproduct of me, having this passion in computer science, STEM, was the grades. So I think my mindset wasn't let's just aim for these A's and everything. I think once you come in with the mindset that you actually want to know more about that subject, then the A's roll in. And it's not obviously everybody is different. Not everyone might get A's directly, or your passion might be in a different subject. But I think learning, and it's always been trial and error, right? From elementary school, I realized, okay, I kind of have strengths in STEM. I actually really like math, computer science. English was also quite a strong suit for me as well. So these are the things that I liked. And then talking about these skills, I learned it's also, I think, so just for the listeners here, it's also a good thing to like have like a either a personality test, or like just like figure out, ask different people about the careers available and see if it actually suits you. Because some people just think that they are set into a major in college, but it might not actually be a good fit for them. So I think that that process didn't come directly. But once like, okay, once you kind of have a sense of like what you want to do, I
Mhm.
think it made me like it really opened my eyes to like how I approached academics.
Nice. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. That's good to know. And were you of a disciplined person, would you say, in high school? Did you have like a timeline, schedules?
Yeah, I try to be disciplined. Yeah. I definitely think that like I have priorities. I think it's really important to prioritize in high school, just because there are so many different things you have to do. And this is something that really goes on to college as well, because there are so many things socially, academically, uh, organizations, responsibilities that you have to do, that if you have goals that you want to achieve, you'll have to like, plan down the line, prioritize, and also make sacrifices as well, I think. Obviously, when people look at the grades, like a lot of people just say, "Oh, you're smart" or something like that. But I feel like like it's like the saying is right. Like hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? So I think sometimes like putting the work in is really important as well. And yeah, just like having a good routine, having a game plan to like tackle exams or like projects, or like planning in advance, I think is a really good skill, not only for high school, but for college, and also for internships and career in general.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. And you touch a really good point on talent versus hard work,
Right.
and that's something actually that I've been kind of trying to like research on and trying to like survey a lot of students. But like, what are your thoughts about talent versus hard work in terms of just in general? Because I've seen a lot of talented people who doesn't have the work ethic, right? But I see
Hmm.
a lot of people who work really hard but not talented. Um, in general, like what's your thoughts behind talent versus like hard work?
Right, right. I think when it comes to that, I feel like definitely if you persevere and you actually put the work in, that is like the rewards for it, I think will be like huge. Some people obviously they're gifted and they might not need to work as hard as some other people to be able to get a certain thing. But I think yeah, being like always wanting to learn, always wanting to grow, I think is a really important thing. um
Yeah.
like another thing that I'm a huge like basketball fan, and
Mhm.
like basketball players, like there's this one ad that always shows up. It's like, if this guy was satisfied with like making the NBA, he would just stop when he's a bench warmer, right?
Mm.
But once you're in the NBA, you have another level of competition. You want to work hard to be the best, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's the same thing for me as well. If I was self-satisfied with being first ranked overall in school, then I'd just be that's it. That's it, right?
Right.
But now I go to college where everyone here is like smart. Everyone here, like there's so many valedictorians. There's so many people who are talented. You can't just be satisfied with who you were, right? There are other challenges, be it like internships, or just like doing well in college, organizations, or just like entrepreneurship in general. So I feel like learning and trying to like challenge yourself is something that can really help you grow and become a better person, instead of
Yeah.
just being satisfied with what you are, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And yeah, yeah, it does. It definitely does. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and I love Steph Curry. Steph Curry is my player. I'm a Warriors fan,
Oh, they're
and
doing really good this season.
Yeah, they're doing really good this season. And sometimes like Steph Curry is an example of like he makes it so easy to shoot a three-pointer, right?
Exactly.
But you don't see the hard work that he put on behind the
For
scenes
sure.
because all the
Yes.
shots that he's making, a lot of the NBA players can't even make it, right? Because it's
Yep. Yep.
pretty hard. And just the practice that he does, we don't see like what he
Hmm.
does on a daily basis. And
Yeah.
result, like I think our world is very into result oriented.
Yes, that's true.
But once you see the hard work, a lot of people don't want to put that hard work, and that's
Exactly. Exactly. And since you touched on Steph Curry, my basketball fandom, like this is something that I like to say as well. Steph Curry changed the game so much so that like middle school kids right now all want to shoot from half court, right?
yeah,
And they
yeah,
think it's so easy, and people are always like, Steph Curry shoots those shots just because he's trained those shots millions of times. You can't just take those shots mid game or something just because Steph does it. You have to actually put the work in, then you can do that, right? So sometimes like a lot of people
right.
see like, wow, this is like, I think I can do this, but they don't know like millions of shots Steph Curry has done to put himself up there to be one of the greatest shooter ever.
Yeah, and also the trust from the coaches and other
Yep,
players
that's
that
right. Yes.
that you can't shoot that shot.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Okay,
Right.
okay. Yeah, so
Mhm.
let's transition to your college application when you were kind
Sure.
of doing that, right? During
Right.
your high school 12th grade. So you're
Yep.
in this, like application season.
Yep. For
For
sure.
you, what were the biggest challenges personally in the application process?
Oh wow, yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the biggest challenges was time management as well. I don't know if you remember, but that like October 2019 time span, I was juggling my final exams for school. So little context, my school final exams, my year like my leaving examinations were on November of 2019 because our high school was 3.5 years instead of four. So I had to juggle that while also doing ED applications. And then so I didn't get into my ED, but like after I got rejected, I still had to work on it during December. So it was like quite tough. But I feel like I really enjoyed the process. I think for college applications, it's really important that you start early because if you leave it to the last minute, you're just gonna yeah. And Andrew, you know this well, right? People who leave it last minute, it's gonna get really messy. Um, but yeah, I think time management was quite a challenge.
Right.
Also, like writing essays was a challenge at first, just because I didn't really know what the colleges wanted to see when I wrote, and it was kind of difficult to adjust my writing to college essay writing, right? Telling about yourself. It's different than what they teach you in high school. So
Correct.
it was quite an adjustment at first, but after I finished my ED essays, I think it kind of became more natural to me, and it made me like it was easier for me to make my RD essays and sort of are replicated for different schools. But yeah, I think those two. So like writing the essays at first, and what's that called, and time management. And shout
Fine.
out to you, Andrew. I think one of the biggest things like people like try to fill in a lot of activities senior year and stuff. I think us already planning these activities like from my junior year and from my sophomore year really made it easy because I didn't have to suddenly say I wanted to start a club in senior year, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. That's what we
Mhm.
do. That's what we do.
Exactly.
We'll help you
That's great.
organize.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah.
And then, like you touched a good point on rejections, right? Rejections is
Mm,
something that I think people don't talk a lot about.
right.
And that is kind of like our human nature. Like we just don't
Yep.
talk about rejections, and people who go to Vegas, for example, they don't talk about losing, right? They
They
talk
talk about the
about
money
their
they make. Yeah,
yeah, the
yeah,
money they
yeah, yeah,
made,
yeah, yeah.
like
That's
the
right.
the
Right.
$100 that they made, but we don't know that they
Exactly.
lost like $500.
Yep.
So rejections, like in case of the college apps, I know it's not that you lost, right? Because it's not about losing, but it's more about it doesn't show fit with that certain university,
Hmm.
and it's a hard thing to handle, especially for a high school student. How,
Yeah.
like, I know you applied for ED, you
Yep.
got rejected. You apply a
Yep.
few in RD, a lot of
Yep.
rejections as well.
Right.
How what did you learn about yourself in this like rejection moments, and how did you handle it?
Yeah, I feel like that's like it's a good reality check as well, because sometimes like you feel like you're on top, you're like, you perform well in your school. But then it really tells you, like, it really prepares you for life as well, I think, Um like rejections tell you that, hey, not everything will go your way, right? And sometimes like these are actually good stepping stones to really help you grow as well emotionally, as well as I think one good thing about rejection. So I took an entrepreneurship class this quarter, and one like my professor always said that rejections are actually like a no. It's better than a maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sorry for people who are like deferred in wait lists, but
Mm-hmm.
like when you get a no, you're like, okay, that means it's not going to be there, right? Like I can focus on other things. Like my options are on, I have like the options that I know that I got, and like these ones are the ones that like I leave them behind. um but yeah, it really like helps you. I think rejections actually help you uh understand that, yeah, things might not go your way, but at the end of the day, whatever is best for you, whatever is given to you, I think like it's the best that you've given your best, you've worked hard and everything. And you got into Northwestern as well, which is like a great college. So and I'm like so excited. I'm so like every day I still can't believe I'm here. Great weather, beautiful campus on the lake, and meeting like a really passionate group of young people on campus. It's like I wouldn't trade that for nothing. And yeah, like I'm a Christian. I believe like God really like put me in this situation. So it's like it's great that I'm I'm here right now.
Awesome. And then I know that I think you got accepted to Northwestern, Berkeley.
Right,
Any other
Berkeley.
ones?
Yeah, Georgia Tech, NYU, Yale and US that shut down.
Mm, okay.
What else? I feel like there are some more. Yeah, a lot of the UC schools as well, like San Diego, Irvine. I'm thinking I'm missing
Right.
some others. Yeah, basically that. I
Okay.
think I was waitlisted in Hopkins and Cornell.
Okay. And then between Northwestern and Berkeley, how tough of a decision was that? Because you're in
Right,
tech, right? You're interested in technology, and
for sure.
Berkeley is situated right in Silicon Valley.
Right.
Northwestern is in Chicago, a top 10 U.S. university. Like, how was that decision of making those two choices? Was it hard, and how did you decide it?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me this question as well, and this is something that I think is really important for people to know, that rankings, a lot of different things, obviously majors, they can play an effect in college decision, but I think the most important effect is fit. Fit is really important because obviously you might go into university and it might have all the rankings and everything, but it might not fit you, right? But for me, I think I really enjoy a setting where I can combine majors of different fields, and also just like being a private school, like the one-on-one personalized college system that is in the private system was something that really resonated with me. Coming into college as a freshman, I was given like 5 to 6 advisors directly: a peer advisor, a major advisor, an academic advisor, and then also like there's this mental health advisor thing. So like you get that straight out of the path, and I think it was really great. Another thing was Northwestern's slogan is "and is in our DNA," meaning that people do economics and music, they do computer science and psychology, so they combine different majors in order to create something that they're interested in. And I think that really that really resonated with me for Northwestern. And this is not taking anything away from Berkeley. Berkeley is a great school. I think I like, if I didn't go to Northwestern, I would go to Berkeley. But I think I would have preferred the smaller classes, the more in-depth personalized approach of Northwestern, instead of like the more public large classes setting in UC Berkeley. And Northwestern's computer science is also like, a lot of people get into Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft. A lot of people do like amazing research, and I think the CTO of Tesla and a CTO of SpaceX actually also is from Northwestern. So yeah, it's computer science, it's engineering is also up there. So it's not like I'm going to a really bad school in Northwestern. It's a really good.
Right, right. And transitioning to college, like what has been the biggest adjustment in college, and what surprised you about college that you didn't know?
Right. I think I kind of will sort of make this question. How was transitioning from my freshman year to sophomore year? Because freshman year I was online, sophomore year I was here. And I think definitely you have more things to think about. Weather wise, you have to think about what you have to wear, like, because the weather is dropping here in the Midwest, right? So you have to think about that. And also, being here in person is 10 times better than, Zoom classes. I can actually interact with a lot of people. I can actually go to classes and experience college life, join organizations, socially meet a lot of new people. The hardest transition is probably in terms of like living alone. I didn't find it like that hard because I've been to summer camps and everything. And I think, I've been sort of trained and prepared to live alone. But I think, just living in the US and like having more responsibility, I think uh just being able to think, just having more responsibilities, I think is one thing about transitioning to college. When you're at home, when you're in your parents' home, you just have to worry about academics, and you don't really have to worry about, just getting stuff in your life together, right? So this
Right,
is a really good experience, and it really makes me, I think, more prepared for the adult life.
right. And then the second
Yeah.
question is about adjustment, right? Because I know
Mhm.
education system around the world is different,
Right.
and I know I'm like it's kind of hard to compare high school versus college, but just in general, like what has been the biggest difference between the Indonesian education and the US education, maybe in terms of like culturally or in terms of you know the way that the professors talk to the students, things like that.
This is great as well because Gen Digital, I see like different education systems, and I see like how people learn. Are you talking about Indonesian schools in general, or like just like because Indonesia, like, you have international schools, you have public private schools, like which schools in general for
Right,
Indonesia?
right. Yeah, I guess it's more of the Indonesian teachers versus
Okay.
not the expat teachers.
Right, right.
Yeah,
hmm I think definitely teachers here in college really, and like the system, like the way like the environment is, it really encourages interaction. It really encourages, um just being involved in the classroom, so that it's usually more of a two-way, back and forth. You actually like, the students can ask. It's, really, it's more of like the students are really like, they like the teachers want students to actually learn, right? I feel like this is not a knock to Indonesian education system or anything like that, but sometimes a lot of the time in the Indonesian system, it's like students actually work or actually study for the grade instead of the sake of learning. Yeah, so basically, I think in the US, like this passion for like learning, this passion to like grow is really instilled in us. And so I think the classroom setting also takes different forms, right? Project-based learning is big here. I think one of my first classes in Northwestern was called Design Thinking and Communication, where basically we right off the bat, we're put into groups of four, and in 10 weeks, we had to develop a product from zero to actually like a physical product to be given to a nonprofit in Chicago. So, like from the get go, I think, project based learning, collaboration was really instilled on us as college students. And I think that really shows, how like interdisciplinary learning, not only, just like lecturing, but also having students actually do things hands on, be it, in the classroom or like outside, and like field studies or something like that, is essential to like what's that called, a holistic, learning
yeah,
process.
Yeah, I actually learned that too when I went to do my MBA. Because before MBA, I did
Right.
a few years of work.
For sure.
When I went to MBA, like I learned like I wanted to learn even more because I,
Okay.
I I know how it's applied to the real world,
Yeah.
and so like that made me want to learn more because I know how important things are
Right.
in terms of things that we're learning.
Hmm.
So yeah, hands-on learning definitely is good, and that's something that I wish a lot of people would get that earlier on in the process
Hmm.
because it makes you want to learn more.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I want to add is like, I think in the US, like if there's like a difference of opinions or if something that you're not agreeing with or you want to like discuss, that is like really open, right? Like, professor, I
Yeah.
think like your answer is wrong, or professor, I think I don't really agree with your way of solving the problem, and then it can be a discussion. Whereas sometimes, in Indonesian system, maybe like if you want to like, let's say if you say like your teacher made a mistake, it's like, oh, there's no way this teacher is right or something like that. So I think I
Yeah.
think you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically I feel like discussion and like just like an exchange of opinions is really encouraged in
Mhm.
the US.
Yeah, and I think they see students as almost like peers, like close
Oh
to
yeah,
peers, you know.
for sure. Yeah.
Whereas in Asia or in Indonesia, there's still a like that status of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
teacher and the student,
For sure.
and
Right,
then
right,
you
right.
gotta listen to the teachers more. Um,
Exactly, exactly.
okay, and then
Spot on.
in terms of Northwestern, right? Like
Right.
like once you move in during your sophomore year, did you
Mhm.
partake in any like traditions or anything that was like exciting?
Oh yeah, Northwestern has a lot of like interesting traditions. Um, when I first like got to campus, obviously like the tradition is called March to the Arch, and what happens is obviously there's this arch called the Weber Arch in Northwestern in Sheridan Road, where the whole college class will march when they first get into Northwestern during our welcome week, which is called Wildcat Welcome, and we'll all march there to symbolize obviously like us entering Northwestern. So that's really cool. And usually the parents just stand on the sides and just like just clap their hands and sort of celebrate the students coming in. A lot of different ones as well. One that I really enjoy is that all Northwestern students, like during their first year, or for me it was my second year because our Wildcat Welcome was 1 year later. We were given basically the whole night, so it was from 8 p.m. until like 2 a.m. We booked Six Flags just for Northwestern students, so we could ride any ride for free. Yeah, in Six Flags.
Wow, that's so cool. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah. So that was really cool. Different Northwestern traditions during the year. We have the primal scream, which is during finals week, people just like scream their
scream.
way, yeah,
Okay,
to basically just like um, get their stress away. But I
okay,
think the tradition that I like most is renting out the whole Six Flags for just Northwestern.
nice. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then in terms of, I think you touched base a bit about the end curriculum, right? Well, can you tell
Yep,
us a bit about that? Like, what is that? What does that mean for Northwestern and for
for
students that
sure.
doesn't know?
Right. I think I don't want to get the statistics wrong, but a majority of Northwestern students combine two or more areas of study. So I think a lot of Northwestern students, like, this is not like everyone, but like the typical Northwestern students usually has like a rule of three. So it's either one major and two minors, two majors and one minor, or one major, one minor and certificate. So it adds up to three. Like for me, I have one major and two minors, computer science with minors in data science and entrepreneurship. But basically, Northwestern students are sort of encouraged to basically explore different areas of study, combine them. For McCormick, the school that I'm in, the School of Engineering, we always have this sort of tagline called whole brain engineering. So we always have, left brain and right brain, right? So students are encouraged, they have to take social sciences and humanities classes and declare a theme, which is basically a set of 7 courses that are related, that is like outside your major. So you have to declare it. You have to declare it. Let's say you're interested in, like, let's say philosophy, literature, and like economics. You can make your theme to be like, you know, this like diving into American literature in the 1960s, and you can take 7 classes that are like make sense with that theme. But every engineering student will have to do that, which the byproduct is you don't only learn STEM, you also learn like different things outside STEM. So that's just an example. Some of my friends also do like music and engineering or music and economics, because I think we're the only top 10 school with a music school as well, right? So like a lot of students who like music, really combine music with something else as well. So really interdisciplinary learning is really sort of a highlight in the school.
Awesome. Okay. And then in terms of your career and major, right? Transitioning
Right.
to that, why did you choose your major? What excites you about it? And also, like, kind of like, what do you hope to do in the future after you graduate? Because I know tech right now is such a big thing, not only in the US but also in Asia. So yeah, if you
Mhm.
can touch base a bit on that.
Yeah, I think my prior internships really made me excited. Like I really fell in love with the startup world. I interned as a software engineer. I interned as a product manager, and it really made me sort of excited about the agile nature of software development and like startups. So that's something that I really am aiming for right now. That being said, I'm also like open to like different fields like consulting, probably different things as well. Entrepreneurship is something that I still do on the side as well to basically just I think it's good to learn from the best, learn from the companies that are like worldwide, but also at the same time still bring those experiences, learn from them, and try to like experiment them yourself as an entrepreneur. Right? If you just do entrepreneurship, you just try to make your own thing, and you don't have a standard and you don't see how it's done. It's not good, right? So I feel like having
Right.
them in parallel right now really opens it up for me. And yeah, I think career wise, I definitely want to go back to Indonesia for the long term, but definitely want to start, want to still gain experience in the US first to learn from the best.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Are you
Mhm.
looking to do your own startup in the future, maybe? Like
Yeah, I think
after?
that's the main goal, like in the
Yeah, yeah.
future, but I don't know how long down the line that is.
How long it's gonna be, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It could also be next year, right?
We don't know. Right, right, right. That's why it's very like it's
Yeah.
very like open.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I think technology is still gonna be very strong in the next,
Oh yeah,
10 years,
for sure.
20 years. It
Hmm.
could be forever. The metaverse is coming in too, so that's
Oh
gonna
yes,
be
that's true.
an interesting
Yeah.
area to be in. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes,
sounds
yes,
good.
yes, yes.
Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. It was very insightful and very helpful.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well, Andrew. You really hosted this well, and I think sorry if any of like my my answers were kind of like quite long-winded, right?
No,
But yeah, it was really a pleasure, and thank you so much for having me.
no problem. No problem. It was very, very good. Thank you so much, Isaac. See ya.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See you. Have a good one. Bye bye.